This is Michael again, and welcome to episode 2 of the Bell Call podcast. And as always, I have my co-host right here, Noah.
What's up?
And we have a special guest here, my buddy down here, Mr. Richard Benson.
What's going on?
Yeah. So we got, some stuff to talk about. We're talking about, Raw and SmackDown thoughts. We've seen, if you guys watched the show, on Friday or Monday, we're going to do Saturday night's main event predictions because Saturday night's main event is this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to talk about the WWE TNA Multi-Year Partnership and what
it's about time. It is about time.
Mm-hmm. And also, the last topic we're going to discuss is Britt Baker done with AEW? Because Tony Khan is saying that he is fed up with her, which I don't believe. But we're going to get into that.
Yep.
So, but thank you all for tuning in. The chat's open on the side. Super chats are open. So let's get this. Let's get started. So we're going to talk about Raw and SmackDown thoughts. We're going to talk about SmackDown from this past Friday, which I thought it was a okay show. It was better than the previous week's show, which was absolutely terrible.
Oh, yeah.
After not last week's show, but the following week's show, I'm like, SmackDown needs to go back to 2 hours.
Oh, 100%.
These 3 hours feel very dragged, and it's just basically they use these 3 hours for filler. So what they need to do, because I heard that there's a rumor going around saying that they're just testing this, that USA and WWE are just testing this, and if they do pretty good numbers, then they'll keep it at 3 hours. If not, then they said around maybe like the summertime, maybe around like May or June, it'll go back to 2 hours, which I hope that's the case.
Yeah, what I think they should do is try it for a couple months, just because they've never done a 3-hour SmackDown. So these first couple of weeks, they're finding their footing a little bit. So I think the 3 hours was a nice idea, but if you had enough star power on there every single week, you don't have enough star power on a SmackDown. You have Cody. You have a Solo. You have a Tiffany Stratton. You got a Nia Jax. You have certain stars, but it's not like on Raw, where you have multiple big names that's going to be there every single week and have interesting storylines. The only thing on SmackDown now, which we'll get into, which I'll start that off. I think the best thing on SmackDown was the little teases of what we have with Jacob slowly turning on Solo very, very soon. And all we're seeing is these little touches. And what Triple H does so well is these little touches. Everything in the background means something. Everything on screen has a purpose. So when he stopped wearing all that black, now he's wearing his merchandise shirt. He's no longer doing the hands together as much as he was. He's talking. He cut a great promo. He's passionate. He is going to have a phenomenal match on Saturday night. They're pushing this guy to high heaven. He's a main event player, and they see that. We see that. What they're doing with him is great. Solo's push, I think they ended that way too soon. What you should have done is you should have kept going with the Roman and Solo storyline through at least the Rumble. At least Rumble, because now Solo, you have nothing for him to do except get turned on, and then he's going to be completely buried. He's not a main event guy anymore, and he never was. He couldn't cut a good promo to save his ass. He needs to have the muscle. He has the muscle, but he needs to have a Paul Heyman mouth. And the Paul Heyman mouth is not anybody in his new bloodline. With the SmackDown here, the main thing that keeps me intrigued is Cody. Because I want to see where they're going with him. He's going to drop the title probably at Mania. So what they do with that storyline, that'll be very intriguing. And Tiffany Stratton, she is a star. She's only had under 130 matches on either NXT or the main event scene on the main roster. I think they do a great job with her. She has the mouth. She has the look. She's getting better every single week, and she's better on timing. Her in-ring timing was off for the first little bit on the main roster. You're a bit nervous. You're getting it used to things, but now with the teasing of the cash-in, she's getting better every single week as the champion. She's going to be a main event player, and I think we're seeing a passing of the torch between her and multiple other girls. Because with a Bayley on Raw, going into that, right? With Roxy, they're bringing Roxanne Perez into Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing here is they did a passing of the torch back with the Women's Revolution. That was Revolution. The Revolution was we're not in the Divas era anymore. So the Divas are going out. We're bringing you Becky Lynch. We're bringing you a Charlotte, and we're bringing you a Sasha Banks. Now what they're doing is they're going to bring in a Jordynne Grace, a Roxanne Perez, a Jada Parker, a Cora Jade. Those are your next 4 horsewomen right there. Those are your main 4 women who are slowly going up to the main roster. What they're doing there, they're building stars. I've said for years that Roxanne and Cora were going to go to the main roster, and they're going to have a Bayley and Sasha mentality to them. And we've already seen that in NXT. That's exactly what you need. Besides that, Raw was a bit of a sleeper for me because Punk came out. He came out and he said, "You can bring out Hogan." And I'm like, if you bring out Hogan, sure. Did you see his 24-inch pythons droop now? His pythons are gone.
Did you see everybody booing him out of that arena? To me, that was one of my biggest highlights, was him getting just mercifully booed out of the arena. You know, by now, listen, we all love Hogan for what he did in the past, mostly late 70s, into the 80s, into the 90s. I mostly became a Hogan fan when he joined NWO. That was his highlight of his career, was joining the NWO.
That was one of
he
his
just
highlights.
hit rock bottom. And I think everybody knows, especially after his TNA Impact debacle, and just see him getting booed out of that arena, it put a smile on my face. I mean, I love Hogan. I love what he did in the past, but especially after all the Dark Side of the Ring stuff came out with him and the stuff with Jesse Ventura, it was nice to see people finally realize, especially wrestling fans, finally realizing, okay, Hogan's not as good as he used to be, and he's not a good person.
Yeah, he's
That
not,
was
he's
my
not the
favorite.
guy anymore.
Him getting booed out of the arena was the best.
And
see him getting frustrated was even put a smile on my face.
Well, I think it doesn't really help either. I don't want to bring our president into it, but seeing all the shit he's done with him, I'm sorry. Whichever way you lean, God bless you. We are all in the wrestling fandom, but don't push your fucking president candidate up your ass for 7 months. I'm sick of it.
I agree with you in that part, but here's the thing. Yes, Hogan, pushing the Trump agenda, yes. But it's kind of because then you look at the other side. Undertaker's a Trump supporter too, and nobody booed him out of the arena. So it's definitely, it definitely was not politics as far as politics in real life. Politics in wrestling, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
But you can't compare, you can't say the fans were booing Hogan because of Trump. Because at the same time, Undertaker is a big Trump supporter. So you really can't say that. But in the end, yes, you are right. You should not bring your politics, whether if you're a Trump supporter, a Harris supporter, a Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. Don't bring that into wrestling. It's like with all sports. Do not bring it. Nobody wants to hear it. Everyone wants to sit there especially with their family and enjoy the show. But like I said, you can't compare one to the other. But just to get back into wrestling, because I don't want to go into politics, because this show is not about politics. There's 100, 200 shows that talk about politics, and nobody really watches it.
Yeah.
For a SmackDown, yes, it should go back to 2 hours. 3 hours is way too much. It is really way too much, especially that they don't have the star power. They only have, what do they have? They have Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, which I think he's doing some of the best work, especially the wing title. And I love what they're doing with them both. Straight out of Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon when they were going through their feud back at WrestleMania 10 with the dual IC championships. So I definitely love that. However, you are right. SmackDown is kind of taking a hit. Especially, Roman's not always there. There's not a lot of star power. And I think they definitely ended that storyline way too quick. I definitely believe they should have took that into the Rumble. If not the Rumble, maybe the Chamber.
Yeah.
But I also believe maybe the end of it, because Jacob Fatu is a star. That's why they signed him. Because they know he's the next, no pun intended, he's the next big thing. And that match with Braun Strowman this Saturday is they're gonna tear each other apart and tear the house down.
Oh yeah.
And Tiffany Stratton winning the championship it was 2 weeks ago. Cashing it in. That was the right move. I mean, listen, I love Nia Jax. I think she's a great competitor. She's a great champion. But you needed something new. And Tiffany Stratton is the person. Person to give the title to and build the show around her. Like they used to build the show around Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. I believe, SmackDown will be built around Tiffany Stratton.
I feel like now with like all this filler they're trying to fill. Oh, we need to see Pretty Deadly. We need to see Elton Prince and Kit Wilson every single week on TV, and I'm not even a fan of them.
Well, they're very entertaining. I have to say that, Pretty Deadly, but they've been given the wrong end of the stick. I mean, ever since they got called up, they had that quick title run. Well, they didn't win the title. That quick run against the champions at the time, and they dropped the ball. I mean, I love Triple H. I love Bruce Pritchard. I love what Nick Khan is doing. But there's a lot of wrestlers that they have dropped the ball with. Pretty Deadly is one of them.
Yeah, with
Free Profits are
Broadway.
I don't know why. I don't know why they have not been the champions again.
Yeah.
You go to say Austin Theory and Wilder too. They kind of dropped the ball a little bit with them as well. Who else?
There's a long list.
Yeah, there is a long list. I mean, don't get me wrong. Triple H has been killing it, and he deserves that title of Promoter of the Year. But there is some things that he has to improve on.
Yeah, not gonna say that everything that Triple H has done has been absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then again, I will say this. One thing they do very, very well is they know how to tell a story. It's their big stars. I'm sorry. When you give me a Pretty Deadly segment and it's just them going up to Braun Strowman asking if he wants to join their Broadway show.
It's child-changing
What
garbage.
you should do then is you take them out to the ring and you do a handicap match. Have them be a comedy act, but have them wrestle.
So
I can't remember the last
like
time.
Like an R-Truth.
Yeah. So
I could definitely see that.
but I
Because
mean,
they are pretty funny. I mean, I don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They are
But-
pretty. Mike, don't come on, man. They're funny.
what,
They are
well, I
really
mean,
funny.
what they did wrong is there's too many teams that they're not giving a big chance to, and they create too many new teams. So moving back to the women, right? The women's tag teams. Where is Fire and Dawn at? Where's
They're not
Fire
being
and
used.
Dawn?
Exactly.
Not being used.
Where?
Catering.
Yeah. Oh, they're collecting a lot more money than I'll make in the next 3 years. But they're making a lot of money. Here's the thing, though. Raw and SmackDown with Raw, I like how they're going with the 2.5 hours. They know how to pace that show.
Yes.
They know how to pace that show. Good storylines. Big stars. On SmackDown, sure, you have a Uso. You have an Uso. You don't have main event Jey Uso. Jimmy's trying to be like his brother on SmackDown. It's just not working.
No, it's not.
It is not working.
I feel sorry for Jimmy because Jimmy's actually a very, very good wrestler. I mean, his match with Hayes was good.
Fire. Oh, it was awesome.
It was fun, yes, but he's missing something. He's missing something.
The issue
like what his
is,
brother has. I think maybe because he has the charisma.
Yeah,
he needs that.
He has the promo skills, but there's something that he needs to put over the top to get everybody on his side, like his brother does.
What the thing is they had their tag team run for so long.
Yes.
And then they broke them up, which was very smart to do that because you never know. If Jay didn't become main event Jey Uso, he would have fell down too. Without that gimmick, Jay's done. With Jimmy, I think you bring back that tag team because we'll get into the Saturday night show in just a little bit. But no doubt it's going to be a great match. He's not going to win that title. That's not the story that they are telling. You need to bring them back as a tag team. Have them be on SmackDown because Raw has enough stars. They have enough bigger names on there that they can carry their own show. And with more stars coming in, their big guns coming out after the Rumble, which is when they do their best work, you move them to SmackDown.
So as Trenchcoat mentions Amin, is like the tag team division not being pushed enough. Why aren't the men tag team titles being defended on pay-per-view? I think there's a few matches.
That's definitely creative.
Yeah,
it's creative.
1,000% that's creative.
And he agrees about it's not about the racism aligned with Hogan than the political stuff because Taker did the same thing. So
we could say the same thing about we've had multiple where I'm like, why isn't the Intercontinental title being defended on pay-per-view or US title? Because the tag team titles, unless you're in a ladder match or you have an actual good match, that's your P-break match. For many, many years, it was your P-break match was either the tag team title match or the women's match because the women's match
know how to book it.
Yeah, they didn't know how to book it. With the new team now, they know how to book good stories. 3 hours? You can't book a good storyline with tag teams? I mean, they're comedy. You tried with Austin Theory. You were moving somewhere to make him a bigger name. Then you dropped the ball with not having him turn on Waller, which was moving towards a good direction. Waller is a heel. He's a heel through and through. Theory, he can be a face. He can be a face if you give him the right material. Give him a good turn.
Give him a good feud.
Other guy they dropped the ball with too. Like I said before, because Theory was it's not going to be popular to say. Theory was a Vince guy. He's not a Triple H guy.
No.
And
Vince tried, but Vince dropped the fucking ball on him by having him cash in on a non-world title, and that ruined all his steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
especially when John Cena and Roman Reigns cut the promo, the two promos that kind of started his downfall.
mm-hmm.
And me and Richard saw Austin Theory way before he signed with WWE. He was at a Evolve show, and
Yes,
he had a match there.
Yes,
and he was very good.
Yes, he's a great. Listen, he's a very good wrestler, athletic, got the look, but man, it's just it.
Maybe we'll get like a resurgence, because for many years, let's go back to somebody like a Jey Uso, right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought 5-6 years ago he'd be at this stage now? Who knew he would be as big as he was?
Not me.
So maybe I mean, Theory's what, 27, 28, somewhere around there.
Yes,
he's around that age.
He's still young. He's still young. He has a lot of years to go, and he was brought up from the NXT not once but twice.
Yes.
The first time was way too freaking soon. I think he should have stayed down there the second time a bit more. But I think with the Stars, I think they're waiting to see what happens with the Mania stuff. Because with Carmelo Hayes, we thought he was going to be a big star.
And they
dropping the ball with him.
Flopped a little bit with him too. Don't get me wrong. His series with Andrade was
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Right after, and then even his match with LA Knight.
Yep.
Yeah.
After that,
nothing.
Like Jimmy Uso was his first big. I would have to say his first big match since LA Knight.
And now it's not going to be too much longer. The guys are in their 40s.
Yes.
I mean, Knight's in his 40s.
Yes, I think he's 40.
41, 42? Something like that.
Yeah, he's around that age.
Yeah.
Styles, Ray, they're going to be gone soon. Cena's gone at the end of this year.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of spots.
You kind of saw it from a mile away.
Yep.
The guy's 45 years old, and he's not gonna. He can't wrestle anymore. I mean, he really doesn't have to prove anything.
That's why he's going Hollywood.
Well, I mean, he's making a lot more money in there.
A lot more. He made a lot more money in Hollywood.
Now, I mean, for something like a Fast 10, I guarantee you he made 10, 15, 20 $million.
Oh, easy.
He's quadrupling his money with what he earned with the WWE for 1 year with one movie.
Biggest thing of all, benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not popular in wrestling to say that.
No.
But he definitely got his benefits, just like The Rock, just like Jesse Ventura.
Batista.
So Batista's making a lot of movies, making a lot of money. So, to be honest, I never liked the move because I was like, he's going the Rock route, but you know what? Over time, and then when you hear all these stories come out, you're like, you know what? Good for him.
He did it the right way.
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah. He did it the right way, because with somebody like a John Cena, he had to go through the garbage. I mean, sure, the Rock was some of the worst CGI I've ever seen, but then Cena had to go through 3 Fred movies to actually become a talent and learn how to act to get a name in movies.
Shitty movies.
Yeah, Rock got the big part in Mummy Returns, and that was it.
Yep. And Cena had to go through this and that and this and that.
And then got hit.
Batista got lucky.
Oh yeah, Batista got lucky.
Oh, Batista got very lucky.
But I I think that Raw and SmackDown were good this week.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is
The time.
The time
the
for SmackDown.
SmackDown time is too long. You don't have enough stars on there. The matches are good. Don't get me wrong. You have good storylines going.
Yeah, less is more, as they say in the wrestling community.
But one thing I have an issue with is now you're almost building nothing for the Royal Rumble, because look what we have going at Saturday night's main event, when you could have had more matches announced for that. And sure, Saturday night's main event is a show. It's a show. But you couldn't have done a couple of those matches on the Rumble show to not make it feel like a rushed card, besides just, hey, I'm in the Rumble. Hi.
Yeah,
I feel like Triple H just pulled a Vince, because most of the time Vince would wait till the Rumble to even figure out what he was doing. He had the 2 main events he wanted, and then every other card was either figure out by Survivor Series or the Rumble or one of the in betweens.
Yep.
Like the Chamber, or they have Fastlane and Roadblock in the past. So,
or he would just throw matches on there just to fill the card.
Exactly. So this is gonna be a big test for Hunter.
Yeah, and this year's Rumble is stacked.
Yep.
Yes.
But one thing I wanted to add, right?
Okay.
Before we move on to the next thing, who do you see as surprise entrants? Because now we don't have as many spots for a massive surprise. We're gonna get a lot of lower cards and mid cards. I think we'll have 3 surprise entrants in men's, maybe. Women's, there's got to be at least a couple more. Who do you see as being a surprise entrant
in the men's Rumble?
Mm-hmm.
In the men's Rumble,
yeah,
without a doubt, 100% Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry,
100%.
Without a doubt, he's going to be in it.
Especially he just won the title from
the TNA Championship.
Nick Namath. Well, I call him Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah,
and I really think Dolph could make a surprise entrance.
Yeah.
Man.
Now
I'll throw another curveball at you, and you guys will look at me like, oh no. Matt Cordova.
Okay.
That guy. I am so happy. When he got released after 2020, I kind of figured, you know what? He'll go to AEW. He'll go to Impact. He traveled the whole. Oh, I think we just lost Mike.
Oh well. Yep.
Oh, there he is. He went through the gauntlet in the indie scene and he made it. I'm so happy for him. His matches with Nick Gage definitely put him on the map.
Mm-hmm.
I know he had
that Gage in WWE,
like a 2 quick match AEW premiere.
Yeah,
with, Chris Jericho. That was all right, but I'm so happy for him, and I really hope he comes back, especially if his wife is going to come back. But I really hope he does, because he 100%. I'm so happy that he went out there, he bet on himself, and he's now one of the most over guys, not in WWE or AEW.
I think I'm going to throw one name out there.
I like Saturday night's main event, but it's always been a glorified house show.
House show, yeah, definitely.
He's like, I'm confused why they are not building the women's Rumble.
That's true.
With the men's, I would not be shocked to see a Jason Alexander, because he just quit and his contract's done. His contract is just about done. He wants to go to the WWE, and Hunter has been staring at him for many, many years. I think he could be a name. The women's match, we already know one.
Yeah,
sing it with me. Jordan Grace.
Yes.
Jordan Grace.
Mickey James.
Without doubt, she'll be
one, because she's been there the last how many Rumbles? 3.
Yep.
Especially oldest is there, and I think she probably will end up coming back and having one last hurrah.
It wouldn't surprise me if we got a
Maven.
Maven. And say Mark Henry and maybe the Hardys and the Dudleys.
Maven, another underappreciated guy that Taker helped.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Taker, he nobody would know who he is.
No. With the women's, maybe Nikki Bella. I mean, she made nice. She said she wants to have one more run. So if they called her, not that it's a good idea, especially now, but I think if you give it another year,
she would do it now, especially after all the stuff coming out with her ex.
She was
would be nice if give her some, give her, something to look forward to, but especially after that big messy divorce and the abuse charges, I don't know, but that could be that's a very good idea. I didn't even think of her.
And then there's one more who is literally there every single year.
Who?
Two women were there for many, many years, except for one.
Okay.
Michelle McCool was there multiple times, even when she got out of the fucking crowd in the front row. That was
great. I wasn't even expecting it. She was there in the crowd. I was like, oh, that's nice. And then all of a sudden her music, I was like, oh my God, this is definitely one of the smartest things they ever did.
And then the other one, I saw an interview with her. She
Molly Holly.
Nope. She said she wants her kids to see her in the ring once. And that's Kelly. I think if you put her in there, is she the best wrestler? No.
I definitely see that.
But for a Rumble, you don't need to be the best wrestler. I mean, she's a name. You can have your kids see you in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's not going to lead to a run.
Should be out in 5 seconds.
Which, I mean, hey, she got her wish. Her kids got to see her in the ring.
She would. That actually would be a nice little present.
And everybody would pop for it because I can't tell you how many times she came out and that crowd loses their mind even when she just spins somebody around and screams for about 10 seconds, and that's all she does in that 30-minute stint. But that was I think we're gonna have a good Rumble. We'll get into that next week, but
I think with my picks, for instance, Joe Hendry's going to be in it without a doubt.
That's
another one, maybe, with the whole WWE TNA partnership, maybe Moose. Moose might be a surprise entry.
All right.
I can't think of another one, but for women, obviously Jordan Grace. I almost said Jordana.
Jordana Brewster's coming, eh? Cool.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. Maybe AJ Lee.
Maybe. But I don't know where she'd fit.
You could build something from her.
Yeah.
I can't see it. They already said that she would only come back if it makes sense. And I just don't see it.
It was just a one-off
back, but I can't see it.
I can't see it for a one-off. If they give her a 1-year deal, give her a 1-year deal run, and don't do anything with her husband because that never works out well. Don't give me anything with Punk as a storyline. Maybe have them be out there every once in a while. Maybe he's out there or she's out there, but don't do a Becky and Seth thing of having a full storyline.
And that was forced.
Or John Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maria. That was
awful.
That's what I don't want.
I'm going to tell you right now, the best couple storyline this recently that was actually you can actually sit there and say, you know what, that was really good. Was with Edge and Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liz and Maurice. That was the only time, in my opinion, the only time that was actually a good storyline involving husband and wife.
I think
With
maybe
AJ?
we might get Charlotte and Becky coming back in the Rumble.
I think that's also two give me's because it's apparently rumoring Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton at Mania.
Yeah, that's where they're going.
And I think it's supposed to be either A, Charlotte wins. How many time champion is she? I think she was like 14, 13?
Yeah.
14 now. Yeah.
Now,
Maybe she would lose and it will be a passing of the torch.
that's the thing I'm hoping.
Which I hope they do.
I mean, Charlotte already kind of passed the torch to Rhea.
Yeah, kind of.
I think it was 39.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte was hurt last year with her knee.
Yeah.
But
he says maybe for the Roxanne AJ Lee face off.
That would actually be really a really good one. But we'll see.
He faces Charlotte. Tiffany needs to win. Yes.
Yes, Tiffany does need to win.
That's the right decision.
But there's that guys. What did you think about Raw and SmackDown? What do you think about the length? Are you excited that we have a 2.5 hour roughly Raw every single week? Maybe a give or take of 3 to 5 minutes, because you never know. But with SmackDown, 3 hours is way too long. Give us good storylines. What do you want from it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let us know your thoughts. And next up, what is our next topic, Michael?
Main event predictions. Saturday night's main event is the Saturday. Going to be in San Antonio, Texas. And we only have 4 matches on the card here. So
that means each match is probably going to go at least 20, 25 minutes, which is good.
Yeah.
You don't want 8 to 10 matches, and it's 2-3 minutes each.
Oh, well,
that's another thing I really like what Hunter has been doing since he's taken over. Putting out short matches, but with nice length to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, less is more. Quality over quantity.
And of course, you're gonna have commercials for these matches. So.
Oh yeah. That's how they're gonna make their money.
That's how they're gonna make their money. So the first match here we got is Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. My prediction is this is going to main event the show.
Yeah,
I see.
I think Cody and KO got a main event because Cody and KO out of these,
they got the contract signing.
Fine.
Yeah,
you really can't have them start the show. I think Gunther and Jey are going to start the show and set the tone for Saturday night's main event.
What I would do is I'd probably go for a Braun and Sheamus. That might be a good violent match to set the tone, but then do the women's match and then Braun and Jacob, Gunther and Jey, and move right into the contract signing. That way you get your main event big title match, but then you set up for the big match next week. Wait, yes,
that
next
sounds good. How you would book the show? I think that's much better than probably what they're going to do.
Where's my royalties? I need my royalties.
WWE, give them his royalties.
Braun and Jacob started the show. If you really want people's attention, if you want to have them two destroy each other to start the show, that'll get people involved.
Yep.
And then you have the Gunther and Jey situation when everyone's adrenaline comes down from the match between Braun and Jacob.
Yeah. But for who to win, obviously Gunther's going to win. I don't see Jey Uso.
Yeah, Jey Uso ain't winning that match.
No.
Yeah. He may be over. He's over. But without doubt, it's not his time.
Oh.
Yeah. Gunther is going to have a long reign as the World Heavyweight Champion, which probably might drop the title at WrestleMania. which obviously
But
that's
that depends on who he's going to fight at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. There was talks about him versus Goldberg. Goldberg wants his retirement match.
I mean, the guy should have gave it up after he fought Taker in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Even though his match against Bobby Lashley afterwards wasn't too bad.
Where am I? Am I back?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
It's StreamYard for you.
It's StreamYard. But yes, Gunther for the win. Hands down.
Get me.
Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. I think this is going to be a very good match. They're going to destroy each other.
It's going to be Braun.
Yeah, Braun.
It's going to be Braun winning
they really need some legitimacy with that title because they dropped that title so many times.
Yeah.
Like with Jey Uso, what did he have it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they dropped the title?
Yep. Back to Braun.
That was kind of ridiculous.
Just to punish Braun for being unprofessional or some shit, and I'm like, well, that was a real punishment. Make him a 2-time champion.
And there's talks about maybe, with the whole Goldberg thing, Gunther versus Goldberg, and then there's talks from what I heard that they want to do Braun Breaker versus Goldberg, in a gimmick match, a spear versus spear type of match.
That match is more of a
I think you do a Braun
like Unforgiven or Armageddon type of show.
Yeah, If you're gonna do it, I say do Braun because with Gunther, you don't want it for the championship because then you know exactly what's going to happen.
It's going to be for the championship. If Goldberg is facing Gunther, it's going to be for the title.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it because it just means nothing now. I mean, Goldberg, he's had his time. We know he's retiring, and he's not going to have a run anymore. But Braun for this one.
I still hate what they did with Goldberg and God bless his soul,
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. That to this day I still have not forgave Goldberg for that because that's I mean don't get me wrong, that was probably Vince doing that, but that was old Goldberg.
Yep.
But I think that Braun is going to retain the title. We might get another match between Braun Breaker and Sheamus for the title.
I mean,
that will come at WrestleMania probably. And
yeah, but for that match definitely needs a third person.
Yep.
Like they had wasn't last year. I think it was 2 years ago when it was Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I think that was also 39. That was an amazing. Oh,
that was a great match.
That was an amazing.
Fantastic.
I think that was night one.
Yeah, it was night one.
I mean, I'd like to see, this match happen again at WrestleMania. Just have Sheamus, win the Intercontinental Championship because it's the only title that he's never won in his WWE career.
Yeah,
that'll be good. That'll be good to have him win it at WrestleMania. Give him his WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. This next match, I don't think we have any problem saying who's going to win this match and who should win this match. Yeah. Jacob, hands down.
Yeah, hands down.
He has to win this. He's coming off a hot promo. He's a big star. Braun Strowman, he's had his time. He will always be a monster.
The Strowman Express is going to be slowing down and going off the rails.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Braun because he had so many starts and stops. Guy should have been a multiple-time champion, but injuries and creative differences, I feel real bad for Braun, but this is definitely one that Jacob has to win.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, it's either Jacob going to win or they're going to have like a double count out or a double disqualification. They're going to pull some. I think in this match, they're going to pull something stupid.
Yeah, and then you got to do something violent.
Braun, I think he suplex Big Show off the top rope and that thing collapsed. Was it?
Yeah, that was back in 2017. on Raw.
Live in Columbus.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. It's gonna be Rhea
because she just won the title.
She
exactly
just won it. There's been almost no build, and the feud is not all that
I really
between them.
went with Nia versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yep,
She
that
won the title off her. And if you go by wrestling law, don't she get a rematch?
Yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah,
because of the new rules.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
that match definitely seemed like rushed at the last second.
mm-hmm. But yeah, the card it's looking like a predictable show.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
match quality wise should be good.
Could have added a U.S. title match too.
Yeah.
Now, granted, who would you put with Nakamura? I mean, he already fought LA Knight how many times already? So
exactly.
It could have made like a fatal 4 match with Nakamura, Knight, Andrade, and Hayes. Something to. I mean, I don't think
those trench coat
anymore,
puts
but
the best.
definitely
Nia and Tiffany have better rivalry to play off of.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that these shows are just going to be this way every single time because they have an agreement with the Saturday Night main events. They were never really massive shows in the 2000s. They were more like high.
Drop the ball with that.
Yeah. The last one that they did before the last one was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
The last one I remember is when Stone Cold and JBL had a beer drinking contest.
Yeah, that was
I remember that one.
2007.
Yeah, that was the last one I remembered.
I think
it was a beer drinking contest.
Yeah, and JBL took 2 swigs after 1, 2, and then he's drinking and spilled it all over his suit.
Yeah,
that's another guy I was happy to see, and I've been so happy he's been going through the indie scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playing guys left and right. That's something that is definitely. If he came up with that, it's genius.
Yeah, but he was doing some good stuff on the indies, and I like that he appeared on Monday Night Raw on Monday.
Yep. But there was that guys, and now we move into
the WWE TNA Multi-Year Partnership.
It's about time.
Yep, I'm not a huge TNA guy, but I know there's some guys and women there that are pretty good. But
they have a lot of good. They have a very good roster, especially if you look at the past rosters.
Yeah.
But to me, this partnership is definitely going to propel TNA.
Definitely.
And 100%.
I'm so glad that this finally happened after years of, flirting with the idea. Guys going from WWE to TNA and then TNA back to WWE. And, just a quick story. I first started watching TNA one day. I think it was 2003 or 2004. Flipping through the channel. And it was on FSN. And the first thing I see was Sting versus Samoa Joe. And I was like, is that Sting? I was like, oh my God.
It's Sting!
I was like, who's this guy? And they kept saying Samoa Joe. I was like, all right. And I'm watching. I was like, wow. I said, so they're really good. This is a really good match. And I always kept tabs on them. And then I fully watched them through the years up until Dixie Carter took over and basically almost killed it. And I only watched it through the Dixie years for the Broken Hardy gimmick. And then when they left, I stopped watching it. And then, I'll give
my brother-in-law because he's always, he watches a lot of the indies wrestling. He was also a big TNA fan, and then he was the one that actually brought me back to TNA. I'm like, all right, I'll give it another try because it was been a while since I watched it, and I think the first match coming back to it, I watched. I think it was I'm trying to remember. I think it was Kenny Omega versus Josh Alexander. I knew Kenny Omega was in the match. I think it was for the TNA title. I just forgot who it was he fought, and I think he ended up winning.
Yeah.
So and I kept saying in the back of my head, I was like, when is WWE gonna get involved? This would be so good. And then AEW got to them, and then AEW dropped the ball. So I'm so glad this is finally
finally came to be.
And I'm so happy. I think the only, as my brother-in-law said, I think the only way this would ever happen is Vince getting the boot.
Yeah,
because Triple H is not dumb, and Nick Khan's not stupid, and Bruce Pritchard's not dumb. They saw the talent in TNA, and they're like, man, if we could get some of these guys and go back and forth with them like they used to do, and now it's gonna happen. I'm so thrilled that it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. It says, there'll be crossover opportunities within WWE and TNA programming for NXT superstars and TNA stars. So we're gonna get TNA stars on NXT
showing up to when John Cena's in the ring. Just the promo that those two guys could cut.
Yeah, Soul's Trenchcoat says, I think it's a great deal if done right.
Exactly. And I think it will be done right.
We've already seen that start.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Very seen when Joe Hendry came there.
Yep. Well,
and Jordan Grace.
Well,
yep.
Well, the first person, to be honest, was Mickie James.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mickie James.
When she had to that Women's Royal Rumble.
I like that they mentioned that she was the Knockouts champion at that time.
Yeah, you could definitely see the fourth wall breaking at that point, and then finally it broke. I think it was the following year.
This will help the NXT stars a lot more than the main roster. Now, what I think we could see happen is we can see AJ Styles go back there once.
Oh, he's
going to do a match.
I think it's going to be more than once.
I think it'll be more than once, but I say only do one match. Don't do a whole stint there. Show up and do a promo here, a fight here, but make your big match against somebody like a Moose.
Yeah.
Or somebody huge.
Or somebody on the rise.
Yeah. And with TNA, my God, they just had their big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And they sold. It
was sold out.
Yeah. You can have AJ Styles go over there, maybe cut a promo, have a match, but don't overexpose,
because that's what they used to do under Hogan.
Yep.
Overexpose. And look what happened.
But this is going to be a good partnership for both of them, and this is going to bolster the viewership for the TNA show by a mile. It's pretty sad, right? When a TNA pay-per-view used to only hold 1,500 people, maybe, if I'm being generous at some points.
You're going to get that raised higher now. But
now they just sold, I think, 5,000-6,000 seats, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
5,000-6,000 seats now.
Pay-per-view, I think, was the biggest. I don't know if it was the biggest of all time, but it's definitely, I think it was top 3 or top 5. Top 3.
Now go back to one thing that was coming to my area. A AEW show was coming to Columbus, Ohio at the Nationwide Arena, okay?
I know where this is going.
So I thought, you want to know what? I'm not an AEW guy, but I mean, It's not very often that a wrestling show comes to Columbus, so maybe. I saw the ticket prices. They know how to do a ticket sale, right? Because they had $15 seats. Fine. There's not a bad seat in the Nationwide Arena. But here's the thing.
I got an opinion on AEW when you finish.
Yeah. Guess how many seats are in the Nationwide Arena?
10,000.
18,000 seats.
All right, I was close. How many
seats did they pre-sell within 4 weeks?
500?
1,100 tickets. And then they moved it the same fucking weekend. They moved it the same weekend, the same date, to a convention center.
WWE early 90s shtick when they used to have to do that.
Well, yeah. They moved the AEW show from
to a convention
center, and you don't even pay for your ticket. You get it with your entry.
Oh,
so they had to pay. They had to pay the convention center money.
That's WCW before Bischoff took over, when they used to have to give out tickets for free.
You couldn't pay me to go to an AEW show now. You literally could not pay me to go.
Listen, with AEW, all right. So I'm gonna throw something out. In the beginning, I was for AEW because WWE was just like
trash.
On something new. TNA wasn't as big as it was at that time, late 2018, early 2019. So when it said, "Oh, they're starting another wrestling company," oh, okay, that's great.
Yep.
And then you saw the guys there. Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Hangman. You're like, all right.
Matt Hardy.
Yeah, they got guys to build, and then they'll start bringing in other guys who are probably not getting their chances, or are good but not good for other promotions. And then they start bringing in bigger guys. John Moxley was probably, in my view, one of the biggest acquisitions. I mean, you could say CM Punk, but me personally, it was John Moxley in my eyes. Then somewhere along the line, especially after and I'm not saying it was CM Punk's fault.
The brawl out situation.
It was his fault. But after he left, maybe even a little bit before then, but definitely after that last match, I think it was for the championship, he said, I'm done with AEW. After that, it's just been all downhill.
Downhill from there.
Even when they lost Cody.
Hey, Christian.
Even when they lost Cody to WWE.
It was downhill from there.
Yes, but they had enough star power to overcome it.
And it was watchable.
And it
was still watchable, yeah.
And you had to figure that Cody at some point was going to say, you know what? I did everything for AEW. I put myself out there. I think AEW will be good without me. And it was for a very short time. Then when Punk left and all the stuff came out about what happened and what was going on,
they showed that footage on Dynamite, which they shouldn't have never did.
Stupidest thing that they ever did. They should have never did that. That was, for a minute, I thought Vince Russo came back to wrestling. That's something Vince Russo would do. But just add that, and I don't know, it's sad because they do have a lot of good stars. MJF should be the face of the company.
Without a doubt.
Swerve Strickland is amazing.
Phenomenal.
It really should be MJF. But
MJF should be number one.
He should be number one, and Swerve should be number two. And then you can throw Hangman there for three.
Orange.
Moxley sure is going to be number four.
Moxley, I think, not to sound cliche, I think Moxley's like the Undertaker. I think he's the backstage leader.
Yeah. He's there. But I mean, he's willing to push over the young talent
Exactly.
when Tony wants to push the young talent.
Yeah, because now when you watch the show, it's basically what Tony Khan wants. It's like, oh, if Tony wants this, they're gonna do it.
It's WCW 1999 2000 when Vince Russo took over, when Bischoff got the boot for trying to get more money when they were cutting him off.
Mhm.
It's just been so bad, and I feel really bad for those guys and men and women that's wrestling over there, because there's a lot of good
Stars there.
What happened?
A lot of good stars there.
Yeah,
you got Hangman and Page. You got Omega. You have
And
Private Party.
where they're when you could finally say, wow, AEW's in trouble? When Penta left.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And it took WWE only 2 weeks to make him into a megastar. And it took AEW how long? Like 4 years.
4 years, and he was off TV for about a year.
They ain't even made a mess for him in AEW.
Now Ricky Starks is probably going to leave.
Oh, they denied him.
Yeah, they're freezing
his release request.
I have a feeling he might lawyer up and say, "Listen, I want out."
He's going to lawyer up, and when he does leave, because he's not staying there long.
No.
Once he does leave, you see him in the WWE. That boy gonna be big. That boy gonna be big. But this is a good lead into our final segment. Speaking of AEW, who do we feel bad for? I feel bad for Britt Baker.
Britt Baker.
Because Tony Khan says that he's fed up with her. Well, guess what?
I find that bullshit.
I'm gonna let myself off of this leash. Ready?
Uh-oh. He took the hat off.
Go.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Oh, he took the chain off. Uh-oh.
Here we go. First episode, I ranted on AEW. I was the person who loves wrestling, right? AEW started. I went, Britt Baker, great. Love her. Sure, you bring over her boyfriend. Great.
Baby.
Here's the issue. What happened? What happened backstage? Britt Baker was a massive star. She was the face of your women's division. She was the face of the women's division and the only real name on your women's division for multiple years, unless you didn't watch all the indie stuff and go to all the indie stuff. You made different names. You have a Toni Storm come over.
Which is pretty big.
Guess what? How long was she off TV because she was injured?
Had to be what was it, a year?
A year. Her injury took her off for 3 months. Mm-hmm. She was healed within 3 months. Tony can't book women. And here's the issue. When Adam Cole and Britt Baker broke up, here's where the backstage politics in the wrestling community and the wrestling world gets into it. What Tony Khan doesn't do is he was never trained to take care of talent. So he took care of his big talent. What was he doing? Adam Cole was on TV for months on end, not doing his rehab, not getting the surgery he needed because he was needed on TV to promote a storyline that he couldn't even fight in. And then he wasn't even furthering anything with MJF. His MJF was off.
That was a really dumb storyline.
It was a failure.
So now you have Adam Cole back. Great. It's been said that him and Brett are good friends. Here's what they did. They did the thing that I knew they were going to do. They gave us Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker.
Been a complete failure.
Which we knew that Britt and Mercedes were going to go at it. That's the best thing you can do. The two biggest stars on your entire women's roster with the two biggest pay grades and the biggest names, even outside of AEW. If you go DMD, I guarantee you someone in Walmart will know.
That's Britt Baker.
But now, what did they do with Mercedes Moné?
Nothing.
They gave her promos. They didn't even give her promos. Give her a piece of paper and say, I shit at 9 p.m. and it would be a better promo than what she just did. Because she can't speak. And you give her two titles
and
in 3 months.
You forgot to mention she won 2 more titles.
And she won 2 more titles in 3 months. Now, what are you doing now? You could have had Britt build up the women's division. She's a veteran now. Instead, what do? Mercedes lackey, her lackey, leaves her. She has no body now, no bodyguard to help her beat anybody up. She can't beat anybody up.
And that went nowhere. You would think that we would get a Mercedes.
They are pulling a, and I know this is different gender and different time. They're pulling a Kurt Angle in TNA when he won every single title, and they had nothing, and they couldn't do anything with him.
But now, with Britt Baker, they're doing the thing. I know what they're doing. He's not fed up with her. He is not fed up with her. What's happening is she wants out, and he doesn't want to let her go. She wants out. She wants to go to the WWE because she knows if she goes to the WWE, she may not be a main event player right away. She's not going to be going up against anybody.
Well, she will be booked fairly good.
She will be booked way better. Have TV time.
I think if Britt Baker shows up, and maybe you throw in another sleeper, if she shows up at the Royal Rumble, which I don't know, I don't think that will happen. But if she did,
you never know.
You know the pop that she will get that will instantly put her over. And you know how many great matches that she could have with Rhea, with Tiffany. Imagine Britt and Tiffany.
With
and
Bayley.
Britt's not that old. What is she like 31, 32?
She's 31 or 32. Yeah.
You know, you could have a 5-year, I'm not saying a 5-year rivalry, but you could have a 5-year stint with just her and Tiffany Stratton, just going back and forth like they used to do with Trish and Lita.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they were only 2 very good women's wrestlers back then. I mean, not encouraging any other woman wrestler back then.
Yeah.
But
this is
in my view, this is all Tony Khan's fault.
Yeah.
This guy, I think what he really needs is a head of creative. That's what he
does.
And he could go, because let's not forget, he's not just running AEW. He's also helping his dad run the Jaguars.
And guess what? The only name
I got
the only good thing that they have on either AEW and the Jaguars is one thing. It's one thing.
What's the one thing?
They drafted a good quarterback, but they can't get a winning record. They have poor ticket sales, poor winning record. The fans have given up, and the viewership is down.
Now with AEW.
They draft a good quarterback, and they put it coach.
Yeah.
But the 2 names I could come up with that could really be good for them, for head of creative, number 1, Scott D'Amore. But I think he's been in talks with WWE. I don't know how far that went.
So, he helped backstage with a NXT show. So I think he's helping there, I think.
So technically he doesn't work for WWE, but technically he does. Like an independent contractor.
Yeah.
But if he ran AEW like he ran TNA from, I think it was 2017, 2018 up until he got fired, which was a really bad move just because he wanted more power. I think he would definitely help AEW. The second guy I could probably come up with is Jeff Jarrett.
Exactly.
Well, he's having his retirement.
The
So
year. But Jeff Jarrett comes from a long line of bookers. His grandmother was a booker. His father was a booker. He was he founded TNA. The only reason why he got out because he needed the money, and he was going through some personal stuff. But those are the two guys, Scott D'Amore and Jeff Jarrett.
And if you do that, Jeff Jarrett,
But
I mean,
it would automatically get respect. With
veterans who know the business instead of a Tony Khan who's using his daddy's money to fund his little action figure time. That is all he's doing.
And no wonder AEW fans are saying Tony Khan is the Vince McMahon of AEW now.
No, Tony Khan is the Vince Russo.
Yeah.
Of AEW.
Vince
McMahon. He knew how to put a good. It wouldn't be a good storyline, but at least he knows how to put a storyline together.
Any storyline.
Tony Khan can't do that right now.
Any storyline.
Yeah.
At all.
I mean, shit. I mean, the storyline with Bobby Lashley and Rusev is better than what's going on in AEW. And that's another guy they're not using.
And they're part of the Hurt Syndicate. He's part of the Hurt Syndicate.
Oh, God, I hate that name. It should just be the Hurt Business.
I think it's copyrighted by WWE.
Yes, I think so, too.
Yeah, but we will say this, right? With Britt Baker, she's not going to be there a whole lot longer. She will go to the WWE very, very soon. Either she waits out her contract and Tony Khan acts like he is a whiny little 4-year-old kid and goes, "You don't do what I want," and sit in timeout. That's all he's doing. He did that with Penta. Didn't use him.
He's doing that now.
He got hurt and pulled him and his brother's merchandise off of the website.
Now I got to mention this. You do know that when he was in AEW, he had merch, but they never released a mask, a Penta mask. He goes to WWE, he has a shirt, he has shirts, and he has a mask. But yet
that was before he signed. When he said, I'm going to come over, they automatically already had it out already.
Well, Tony Khan, he has a mask for the wrestler Hologram. How you give a mask to Hologram, but not Penta when he was in AEW?
I have no idea.
I
said Tony Khan needs help, and I really think those two guys. If you want to throw a third guy in, maybe Bully Ray, because he does have some experience booking. But I think Bully Ray would need a Scott D'Amore or a Jeff Jarrett to be by his side. Like Bully Ray could be. I'm not saying he would be Bruce Pritchard, but he could be like a Bruce Pritchard to Jarrett or D'Amore's like Triple H.
I don't think he'd even touch that. I don't think he's going there because he shit on them so much, and he sees where they're going.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with AEW, they got so much money now.
Yeah,
AEW deal
from that WBD money.
Yeah, but after a while, you're gonna look and say, all right, we're not getting a return on our investment. How long do we pump money into this? It's the same thing with back in WCW. But I mean, I don't know. I really think Tony Khan needs to sit down, needs to actually get someone who could write creative,
write good television.
Yeah, and I think those two guys, D'Amore and Jeff Jarrett, would be the two guys.
Well, AEW needs a hard reset, because their creative is absolute dog shit.
They need a WCW 2000.
Yeah,
and WWE after the Attitude Era, just a total reset.
And they could do it.
Mm-hmm. They could.
I mean, give them time.
It is how you present it.
Exactly. And also, here's what's hurting them, right? For many, many years, they put 12 to 15 matches on a pay-per-view. And I'm sorry, not every sinking pay-per-view needs to have somebody bleed multiple
talking about
times
Moxley.
and multiple times because it got old. We
Yes.
weren't used to that in the PG era. So AEW came around and John Moxley sneezed and he bled. Oh, he walked out to the ring. He bled.
He doesn't need to bleed all the time.
Hangman's out there. We need barbed wire.
John Moxley is trying to be like Mick Foley.
And he's
Yeah.
not doing himself any favors because Foley had charisma and Moxley's just there. He constantly looks like he doesn't give a shit.
He's like, oh, I'm just going to go out there. I don't care what they think. I'm going to bleed. So,
Yeah.
why not?
But there was that, guys.
Yeah. But
there was that.
But AEW, they need, I'll leave this with this. AEW, they need, like I said, a reset. Their attendance has been absolute shit. The ratings have been absolute shit. And if Warner Bros. Discovery sees that, they're going to have to, I know that they see that, but they're going to have to do something.
They have to pull. Yeah, they're going to have to pull. I know I keep bringing up WCW because it's just like WCW. You start out you start out strong, you hit your peak, and now you're falling off the edge of the cliff. So I really think they need they need to sit down, look at themselves in the mirror and say, all right, we need a real creative team, head by one guy. Well, really two, but the one guy has to be in charge.
If they still keep going down this route, there ain't going to be no AEW in like 5 to 10 years.
No. But there was the second episode of the Bell Call. We will see all of you guys next time, where we'll be going over the Royal Rumble predictions, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, special thanks to my co-host Noah, also to my my guest here, my buddy Richard Benson. So you're always welcome to come back on here,
right?
Whenever you want.
Yeah, very much.
Oh, you're welcome. But
and as always, guys.
Yeah, that's it for episode 2, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And this was a very good show tonight. Solus Trench Coach says, "Good show, guys. Stay frosty."
It is cold out there.
It's fucking cold out here. Oh,
I know. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all for episode 3. So, later.